What happens when Hollywood's brightest stars vanish from the spotlight? Some were legends of the screen adored by millions. Yet today their names spark silence instead of applause. Careers collapsed overnight, scandals destroyed reputations, and personal choices pushed them into obscurity. In this video, we'll uncover 15 famous actors who disappeared from Hollywood, reveal the shocking reasons behind their downfall, and expose the surprising twists you probably never saw coming. For 6 years, Kat Dennings was the queen of sarcasm on American television. As Max Black in Two Broke Girls, she won audiences over with razor-sharp, wit-biting humor and a deadpan stare that spoke louder than any punchline. She was the perfect anti-heroine in an era obsessed with glamour, broke cynical, but with a heart that shined beneath the armor. The show became a global hit, airing in over 30 countries and turning Kat into an international star. But when the series ended in 2017, the non-stop exposure ended with it. Unlike many actors, she didn't chase scandal or headlines. Instead, she stepped back. With syndication deals and reruns ensuring financial stability, Kat had the freedom to pause and breathe. She reprised her fan-favorite role as Darcy Lewis in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, appearing in Thor and later WandaVision, reminding fans of her comedic timing. Away from the screen, her personal life found new balance. After a few quiet relationships, she found lasting love with musician Andrew W.K., marrying him in 2023. Today, Kat Dennings lives more privately, focusing on selective projects and enjoying her personal happiness rather than chasing constant relevance. To her loyal fans, she's still Max Black, the sharp-tongued waitress with a hidden heart, but to herself, she's simply Kat, embracing a quieter and more authentic. For decades, Roseanne Barr was the voice of everyday America. Her sitcom, Roseanne, broke barriers, portraying a working-class family that was messy, flawed, and real. She wasn't glamorous, she was sharp, sarcastic, and brutally honest, and that authenticity made her a household name. But in 2018, the same voice that once made the nation laugh became her downfall. It started with a single tweet, a cruel, racially insensitive joke aimed at Valerie Jarrett, a former advisor to President Obama. Within minutes, it went viral, and just hours later, ABC canceled her hit reboot. Channing Dungey, then president of ABC Entertainment, called the tweet abhorrent, repugnant, and inconsistent with our values. Roseanne tried to explain blaming medication, then expressing regret, but the public verdict was swift, guilty of intolerance. Sponsors pulled out her talent agency, dropped her, and a television icon was suddenly exiled. In later interviews, she admitted, "I made a terrible mistake, but I was crucified." Today, Roseanne lives quietly in Hawaii, away from the studios that once adored her. She occasionally performs stand-up and has appeared in a few controversial interviews, but she remains largely outside mainstream Hollywood. Her fall stands as a cautionary tale of how, in the digital age, one tweet can erase decades of success. In the 1990s, Michael Richards was a living legend of television comedy. His role as Cosmo Kramer on Seinfeld wasn't just eccentric, it was unforgettable. With his wild entrances, physical humor, and unpredictable energy, Kramer became one of the most beloved characters in TV history. Whenever he burst onto the screen, millions laughed with him, but one night was enough to undo it all. In November 2006, during a stand-up set at the Laugh Factory in Los Angeles, Richards lost control after being heckled by audience members. What began as comedy spiraled into a shocking outburst filled with racist slurs. A recording of the incident spread online within hours, sparking nationwide outrage. The man who once brought joy to millions was suddenly condemned as a symbol of hate. Richards appeared on The Late Show with David Letterman days later, visibly shaken, apologizing, "I'm not racist. I'm deeply sorry." But the damage was permanent. Hollywood turned its back, his career collapsed, and every attempt at a comeback faded into silence. Since then, Richards has largely lived away from the spotlight, rarely appearing on screen. In 2023, he released a memoir, Entrances and Exits, reflecting on his rise, his downfall, and the lessons learned. Today, he remains mostly out of the public eye, his story serving as a stark reminder: in Hollywood one night, one outburst can erase years of laughter. In Hollywood, few names spark as much fascination as Jared Leto. Actor, musician, visionary, a restless soul who never wanted to follow the system but to reinvent it. He won an Academy Award for his heartbreaking role as Rayon in Dallas Buyers Club, a performance that stunned audiences and cemented his reputation as a transformative artist. Yet just when many expected him to fully embrace movie stardom, Jared seemed to step aside. While others partied at Oscar aftershows, Leto was already on tour with his band 30 Seconds to Mars, screaming into microphones before thousands of fans. With albums like America 2018 hitting the top of the Billboard charts and their latest release, It's the End of the World, but It's a Beautiful Day. 2023, he proved music was just as vital to his identity as film. At the same time, while Hollywood speculated about his retreat, Leto was investing in tech companies like Airbnb and Slack, showing he had one eye firmly on the future. On screen, he reappears selectively, diving into extreme roles from the Joker in Suicide Squad to the eccentric Paolo Gucci in House of Gucci, and most recently headlining Marvel's Morbius. For Leto, every project must be a challenge, not routine. Today, Jared Leto lives between worlds: art, music, and innovation. He isn't chasing fame, he's chasing impact. In an industry obsessed with labels, he chose to be unclassifiable. Hollywood never lost him. He simply decided its stage was too small for everything he wanted to create. For a time, Charlie Sheen was the most powerful man on television. As the star of 2.5 Men, one of the most successful sitcoms ever, he earned an astonishing $1.8 million per episode. The son of Martin Sheen and the golden boy of Hollywood, he had the natural talent, the charisma, and a life built for headlines. But the line between the character he played and the man he was began to blur. Drugs, wild parties, volatile relationships, his off-screen antics became part of the spectacle. And when the spectacle spiraled out of control, Hollywood turned off the lights. In 2011, Sheen imploded publicly. He hurled insults at show creator Chuck Lorre, called his bosses clowns, and coined the viral catchphrase, "I'm winning." His interviews became late-night punchlines, his life an unscripted reality show. Warner Brothers fired him, replaced his role, and closed the chapter on his television reign. But the darkest part of his story was yet to come. In 2015, Sheen revealed he was HIV positive, a diagnosis he had kept private for years. Legal battles followed, along with financial losses, broken friendships, and a reputation in ruins. Looking back, Sheen admitted with rare calm, "I own all of it. I lived as if I was invincible." Today, Charlie Sheen says he's sober, healthier, and more at peace. He has focused on rebuilding his relationship with his children and living a quieter life away from the chaos. Slowly, he's been stepping back into acting, including the upcoming series Ramble On, and even a new project reuniting him with Chuck Lorre, the very producer he once attacked. Charlie Sheen's story isn't just about a fall from grace. It's a cautionary tale of excess ego and consequence, a life that became a script too wild even for Hollywood to write. For more than 2 decades, Cameron Diaz was the very definition of Hollywood success. From The Mask to Charlie's Angels, her radiant smile and magnetic energy lit up the big screen. She was funny, bold, and effortlessly charming, the golden girl of her generation. But just when it seemed her star would soar even higher, she vanished. By 2018, Diaz confirmed what many had suspected: she was stepping away from acting. There was no scandal, no box office disaster, no messy divorce splashed across tabloids. just a simple, powerful truth: I wanted my life to be manageable by me. Hollywood was stunned. How could one of the most bankable actresses of her era simply walk away? While the industry scrambled for answers, Cameron quietly found what the spotlight had never given her peace. In 2015, she married musician Benji Madden, and 5 years later they welcomed their daughter Radix. Motherhood, she has said, is the best thing that ever happened to me. Away from the sets, Diaz wrote 2 best-selling wellness guides, The Body Book and The Longevity Book, promoting balanced self-love and healthy living. In 2020, she co-founded Avaline, a successful clean wine brand built around transparency and wellness. When asked if she'd ever return to acting, Cameron often smiled and said she'd already had an incredible career, but that her family and personal growth mattered more. Yet in 2022, news broke that she was coming back, reuniting with Jamie Foxx for the Netflix film Back in Action. Fans celebrated her return, but this time on her own terms. Today, Cameron Diaz lives a life that blends family entrepreneurship and selective work. Her choice, criticized by some, admired by many, has become a symbol of personal freedom. Because sometimes the bravest move isn't staying under the spotlight, but choosing to step away from it. There was a time when Katherine Heigl shined brighter than almost anyone on American television. Her role as Dr. Izzy Stevens on Grey's Anatomy turned her into a fan favorite and earned her an Emmy Award in 2007. She was beautiful, talented, and seemed to have Hollywood at her feet. But in an industry where public affection can vanish overnight, one misstep can change everything. In 2008, Heigl made a move that altered the course of her career. She withdrew her name from Emmy consideration, saying she hadn't been given material worthy of a nomination. To many, those words felt like a slap in the face to the show's writers and even to creator Shonda Rhimes. Almost instantly, rumors spread: difficult, ungrateful, unprofessional. And in Hollywood, where reputation is currency, doors began to close. After leaving Grey's Anatomy, Heigl tried to conquer film, but her projects didn't land. Romantic comedies like New Year's Eve and The Big Wedding flopped at the box office. Critics were harsh and audiences stopped showing up. What was once a promising career became a cautionary tale of how a single statement can derail everything. In later interviews, Heigl explained her frustration. "I wasn't proud of my work. I didn't feel I had strong material and it affected me. But the damage was already done." In Hollywood circles, her name became shorthand for trouble. Today, Katherine Heigl has stepped away from the chaos of fame. She lives a quieter life in Utah, raising her children and focusing on her family. She's also found a new chapter in television, starring in Netflix's Firefly Lane from 2021 to 2023, which introduced her to a younger audience. Looking back, she admits with some melancholy, "The industry is fickle. Once you lose your balance, it's hard to find it again." Katherine Heigl's story isn't just about an actress who fell from Hollywood's grace. It's a reminder of how fragile success can be in an industry where applause is fleeting and reputation can make or break you. For years, Felicity Huffman was the picture of the strong, smart, slightly frazzled woman audiences could relate to. As Lynette Scavo on Desperate Housewives, she became one of television's most beloved stars, embodying the modern, overworked mother who was flawed yet deeply human. But in 2019, that image shattered overnight. The bombshell broke. Felicity Huffman was at the center of the college admissions scandal, the largest case of academic fraud in U.S. history. She had paid $15,000 to have her daughter's SAT scores altered. The revelation stunned the public. How could the actress who once played integrity-driven characters make such a choice in real life? The cameras followed her every step into court. Social media turned vicious. With a trembling voice in her statement, Huffman admitted, "I was scared, I was stupid, and I was so wrong." The judge's sentence was swift: 14 days in prison, a $30,000 fine, and 250 hours of community service. It wasn't a long sentence, but the stain on her career was permanent. Projects were canceled, endorsements vanished, and Netflix even pushed back the release of her film Otherhood. Huffman became the face of a scandal that exposed privilege, wealth, and the ugly lengths some parents were willing to go for their children. Today, Felicity Huffman lives a quieter, more private life. She served her sentence, completed her service, and has kept her focus on family and healing. She remains married to actor William H. Macy, and together they've raised their daughters outside the glare of Hollywood. Slowly, she has started to return to acting, appearing in the 2022 series The Good Lawyer pilot project, and signing on for a theater role in Los Angeles. Though the industry hasn't fully embraced her back, Huffman seems determined to rebuild one small step at a time. Her story remains a bitter lesson. Wanting the best for your children is human, but believing you can buy it even through deception can destroy everything.